it's been a long road for me, this discovery, and maybe I'll do that as my sharing because it's a lead-in to my work. I grew up with a single mom who did her best and provided for me after the time I was about 10. And I didn't have a lot of the influence from the masculine energy. Even before, the masculine energy was a bit dissociated. So my father had traumatic experiences with his father. So then when he became a father, he wasn't very emotionally available to me or to my mom. So there wasn't, even when he was physically there wasn't a lot of emotional presence of the masculine, of the positive masculine that is kind of there for you, holding you, warmth, masculine warmth. And I always felt like I had to catch up with that. And so one of the ways I compensated was I really was looking for a master. But I was also looking for a father figure in that master. And in part, I'm lucky, I experienced that. So I had a 20-year sort of guru-disciple relationship in a very modern way, in a very Western way. And that filled up part of that cup. But still there was something missing. And it wasn't until I got to the Tantra Yoga school in Berlin and lived in the ashram for 2 years and followed the studies of Kashmir Shivaism, Tantra, which is a lot of theory as well, but also yoga and how to do rituals or ceremonies, all of these things, all of that space and the archetypes, that I found a way to fill up that cup. And that's just from my perspective what worked, and everyone's different, so this doesn't mean it's working for everybody. But it was fascinating to me that there was such a thing as you could get into resonance with an aspect of an archetype and start to feel it arise in you. You could do asanas a certain way and you feel some energy within you activating. And when it started, I was like, yeah, I can't imagine that. But I said, okay, I'll try it. And then I started to feel it. And there was one in particular that's in the starter course, the Vira Asana, the hero's pose, which I decided to do it a little differently than they were teaching it in the Tantra Yoga school, because they were like, okay, it's best if you do an hour and a half yoga every day and, all your life. And I was like, that's not realistic, because I have periods in my life also in filmmaking and getting busy and voiceovers and stuff. I want to find a way that I can integrate into a modern day life. And I think I want to then share it with other men. And so I followed the rule that whatever you do a little bit of every day changes your whole structure and your energy in a big way. So that is also connected to the willpower exercise, which is in the starter course, which is doing something very small every day, but you start to get the resonance of your own willpower. So that is just moving an object on your bedside table in the morning. So this is the bedside table. Okay, I'm going to move it to the front, and then in the evening I'm going to move it to the back. That's my entire willpower exercise. Why is that powerful? Because I'm not going to fail at that. It's the first thing I see in the morning. It's the last thing I see at night, and I always will remember it to move that. And I chose a really beautiful stone, a white little pebble, and it's on my bedside table, and I do that. That keeps me in the resonance of my own willpower, which is not, as many out there seem to teach, something that is only habit building. It is also a field. It's a resonance field in my experience. You might experience something completely different. But how I experience it is that when I do that, I can then add something else simple to it, like one asana. Yeah? So that's what I did in 2014. After learning a lot in the Tantra Yoga school, I chose to add Vira Asana to my daily practice of another asana, which I'll talk about later. And after a year and a half, I could see a difference in my face, in my whole body, and in my energy, and I could see it in the reactions of people, how they were reacting to me. I was feeling that I had more of a groundedness, I had more earth energy, and I was more solar, if that makes sense to you, like shining rather than being receptive, shining my energy out. And that was something that I purposefully did because I knew I was going to start a lot of projects in Berlin. So I started 2 startup companies, and I was working 16 hours a day, and I needed a lot of energy, and I needed more presence and less sort of receptivity. I had the receptivity because I learned that, and that's very important to me as well, to listen and to be there and to really listen to somebody when they're sharing something with you or in a relationship. But I was overly receptive, like I like to call it. I was a bit too yinned out, yeah, too much yin energy. And this way I was able to increase my yang energy, and it's my own yang energy.